Hey everybody, I'm Greg.
And I'm Katie. Welcome to the Meeple Society. Tonight we are on episode 17, part 6 of the C's, trucking right along.
One more to go.
One more to go. But before we get started, if you like this type of content, if you like these types of videos, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, hit the bell icon if you want notification of future content. And of course, go out and subscribe to all of our socials for us.
So before we get started, we've got to go back to the A's, episode 6, to introduce a new Kickstarter, Autobahn.
You know, it's funny. The minute I opened this box up, my first thought was, crap, we gotta go back. Anyway.
This is a route building, pickup and delivery game to its max.
It has action selection and card play and a little bit of deck building thrown in for good measure. It has, I won't call them tech tracks. They're not really tech tracks. But yeah, there's a lot in this game.
They are tech tracks because you upgrade technologies. This track?
Oh, yeah. There is a tech track. I forgot there is, the technology track. Good point. I forgot all about that track.
Yep.
All right. So this one, this game is set post World War II in Germany. For the first 2 eras of the game, Eastern Germany is kind of off limits. There are literally roadblocks you put down. You can't go over there. But in Western Germany, you are building the Autobahn. You are trying to help Germany recover its economy after the war. You are playing cards. Again, that whole action selection. You have, I want to say, 6 cards of 6 different colors, and you are playing these different colored cards to different potential actions at the top of your player board. Everything from building the Autobahn. And there are, like I said, the Germany map is a number of different colors. So you're building on the specific colors of the card that you just laid down. There is the option of loading your truck or building service stations or, oh my gosh, I can't even remember some of the options now. But regardless, I want to say there's 5 or 6 different options. Oh, there's research. You can do research to increase your tech track.
Yep.
Throughout the game,
you can upgrade the Autobahn to make it from a 2-lane to a 4-lane.
That was the other one I couldn't think of, is you can upgrade from a 2-lane road to a 4-lane road.
And there's reasons you want to do that.
Yes, there are definitely reasons you want to do that. But meanwhile, you're building the Autobahn, you're loading your trucks, you're moving your trucks. But despite all of this isn't where the points come from. And let me tell you, there is a lot going on this map. But this isn't even where the points are. The points, I thought you were going to actually open the box.
It kept trying to open up.
Okay. But the points actually come on the sideboard where you have
the construction office.
The construction office and your promotion offices.
Yep.
So as you are playing your cards, you're playing any one of your 6 or 7 different color cards. There we go. And the pieces in this are fabulous.
I knew that would do that.
See, look at, well, you can't even see them. So, but there's your little trucks. You see that? Isn't that beautiful? There we go. But anyway, so you're playing your cards down, and as you're doing so, you're taking one of your guys and putting it on the desk of whatever color card you just played, whether it's black or red or blue, whatever. And then only so many pieces are allowed on a desk at a time, depending on your player count. And as more need to be added, you're kicking the first guy off.
Yep.
And that person goes up to the lobby. Now, mind you, the construction office is how you get money in between eras or in between rounds.
In between eras.
Yeah,
at the end of an era, you score the points on the Autobahn, the color of the Autobahn, and then whoever's at the desk is going to split that money that the Autobahn just made. So if you're the only color on the desk, you're going to get all the money.
Yes. But that being said, so yes, it is good to stay on the desk. It is good to control a desk. However, it's also good to get your guys up into the lobby, because once they're in the lobby, you have the opportunity to promote them to the executive offices, and that's where the end of game scoring happens.
It's the only place that
there's 4 different offices you can promote into, one of which anybody can promote into, no big deal. The other 3 are based on that technology track. You can't promote into them until you've raised your technology. So you have to do this research. You want to do this research, honestly. So lots and lots of stuff going on in this game. Oh my gosh, we played it the other night. What should have been a 2-hour game.
Yeah, our first play was close to 4 hours because we were learning it as we went. We kind of learned at the beginning, and then we were learning through it, and we got probably 2 rounds into it the first time.
First full era in.
And then we realized we'd played it wrong.
We went to score and realized we'd completely forgotten about the sideboard. We had just been focusing on the Germany map and
forgot to put our people in there.
Forgot about the sideboard.
So we had to start over. So it took us a total of 4 hours to play it, but the game says 90 to 120 minutes. Once you learn it, that's probably a good time for it.
I'm anxious to try this one some more. Despite all of our mistakes in the first playthrough, I really, really liked it. I am really anxious to dig into this guy some more. So, but anyway, expect to see some more from us on this one because I guarantee we'll have more out on it. But that is
so welcome back to the Seas. So we're going to start off like last time. We did a lot of clues.
Yep.
Time for that was a lot of Catans.
Yep.
This time we are doing, I'll just grab them, a lot of code names.
Yeah. So code names, if you are not familiar with how Codenames plays, these all play pretty much the same. So I'm just going to explain this one. This is the base game of Codenames. This is where it all started. Codenames is played. This particular one has a 5x5 grid of cards. So you are laying out a 5x5 grid of cards of these cards here, the ones with just words on it. You're playing in 2 teams. So you have 2 team captains, red and blue, and those 2 captains are sitting on the same side of the table, and they're both looking at this exact same card. Everybody else, the rest of the teams, are on the other side of the table. These are the people you're giving clues to. So as team captain, you are trying to get your team to either guess all of the words in the grid in the blue spaces or in the red spaces, while simultaneously trying to avoid the unnecessary guesses of the brown spaces. Those are neutral cards. Those end your turn. Or worst case scenario, the black space, because that's the assassin and you don't want to guess that one because that ends the round immediately and the other team immediately wins. So you're giving clues, trying to connect as many cards as you can. So for instance, I think, say you have Italy and Scotland on the same table and you happen to have those 2 in your grid, you could easily say vacation 1 or vacation 2. You're giving a 1-word clue and the number of cards you think that clue can associate to. Sounds easy.
Yeah, it sounds easy, but sometimes you could say, like you said, vacation 1. If I was on her team, I'd say, oh, yeah, well, we've been there. Okay.
But some people
on your team might not get that.
They may see airplane and assume that's what you mean instead. So you've got to think about who's on your team and clues that will
you probably want to deem one person to give the answer, but everybody kind of
huddle and
talk it over.
To give the answers, you're just pointing to a card, but the minute you touch the card, you can't retract your finger. So, and then if they're right, you put your color. You're putting down these blue and red cards over it, saying, "Yep, that was our card." Or worst case scenario, nope, that wasn't our card. You're putting down a neutral or the other team's color. As long as you don't hit that black one, you're good. But fun game. It's a great party game. You can play this with any number of people. You just have to have 2 team captains. So that is the base name of Codenames. Codename Pictures plays exactly the same, only instead of words, you're playing with these funky pictures. So, and all the pictures are just, they're flying flip-flops. But same concept though. You're putting down your tokens, you're putting down your cards of your opponent, neutral cards, depending on what guesses are made and how those guesses line up with the master card. So these two play pretty much identical. These two, you've got Disney and Marvel, also play identical, except that Disney and Marvel have dual-sided cards where you've got, oh, of course, this one's, you can't see through this envelope. Disney and Marvel have pictures on one side and words on the other. So you can kind of depend. You can even mix it up and do every other one, I think it says in the rules. It's perfectly acceptable. This one plays identical to these two. You still have two team captains, two teams making the guesses. You're trying to guess yours without guessing your opponent's. You're still using one-word clues with the number that you're hoping to associate to that clue. Same exact concept with these guys. These guys I find are a little harder because it helps to know a little bit about the genre.
Right.
So,
and this one is not the Marvel.
Yeah, it's not the MCU.
The MCU.
It's the cartoon. It's the comic books.
Yep.
Which, if you're not a comic book fan, makes it a little more challenging. Yep. So, but anyway, those are those two. And then finally, these guys play completely different. These guys, as you can guess, probably by the name, are two-player games. This one plays exactly the same, just a two-player game of Codenames. So this one, instead of having two team captains, you have two players that are looking at two different sides of the exact same card. So I might be looking at this side of the card. Meanwhile, Greg's looking at that side of the card. He's trying to get me to guess all of the spots that are in green on this side. Meanwhile, I'm trying to get him to guess these spots in green. We're both looking at opposite sides of the exact same grid of cards. Again, all words in this one, but I like these guys because you can, this one especially, you can interchange with these cards if you want to and just play it two-player. So again, same thing. You're wanting to get the right color without unnecessarily guessing the neutrals and without leading to the black assassin spots. Keep in mind, though, that the assassin on his side may be a clue I need him to get on my side. So it makes it a little challenging because you don't always want to guess that card because that's the assassin on your side of the card, but it may not be on his. So very interesting way of doing it. Both of these, and this plays exactly the same way, only in the Harry Potter world. Both of these come with what are called mission cards to make it a little more engaging, I guess. So the mission cards are basically, it's a map. In this one, and here it's like a little report card type thing. But in this one, it's a map, in this case of Europe, well, actually of pretty much a good chunk of the world, where you are you start in Prague and you are trying to work your way out. You are allowed, each city allows a different number of guesses before the game is over. If you can get all of the cards guessed in that amount of time, then you've won, provided you don't make more mistakes than that city allows. So, for example, Prague allowed 9 guesses and we were allowed to make 9 mistakes. So fairly simple as long as we can get the 9 guesses. However, we get down to Monte Carlo, which we have not gotten to Monte Carlo yet. We're allowed 9 guesses still, but we can't make any mistakes. That one's going to be a little more challenging. So very fun games. I really like the 2-player versions of these. Needless to say, this guy sees a whole lot more play. These both will than any of these for us because of the fact of the 2-player nature of them. That being said, do we need all of these? Probably not. But are we going to keep all of these? We do have these two. Let me put those two aside for a second. We do have both of these in the travel collection. I was able to get second copies of these for that collection, and they will stay there. These are great party games. They're very popular party games, so we'll keep them in that collection too. So all of these are sticking around.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
So we go from Codenames to a kid's game. Well, actually, it's not truly a kid's game. It's 7 to adult. This is Color Clash, not Color Splash. Color Clash. This is like Color Slap if you watched the last game.
Yes.
It's all about making patterns. This one has 8 variants in the game of different ways to play it. So
yeah, I like it. It's literally 8 different games.
And as you can see on the back, one of the ways is if you're collecting these tiles, and like this one has blue written in red. So if you found a tile that said red written in blue, that could be considered a match.
Yeah. So really neat tiles. I mean, they're thick tiles. There are some of the versions you're matching this, you're matching the larger icons or the larger tiles to it. Just really neat. We actually had a pretty good time with this one. So, and we decided that we are going to hold on to it. It is going to stay in the other collection. I think it's similar to some of the other ones we've tried, but at the same time, I like this one better. The components are better. It's not just cards. Not that there's anything wrong with just cards, but it has some interesting challenges that are geared more toward adults. In fact, there are solo games in here all the way up to 8-player games. So for that reason, we're going to go ahead and hold on to this guy. And he will stay in the other collection. That is Color Clash.
Okay. Next one we had help playing. This is Cosmic Encounters. We had Adil and Connor come over and play it. Connor actually taught the game because he had a little bit of time before we actually was able to sit down with them to play. He taught Adil and then reminded us how to play it.
Refreshed our memories on it. We hadn't played it.
We found out then too, Connor's wife really liked the game. So next time we play it, Connor, bring your wife.
Yes.
But anyway, so this is it's a negotiation game.
Space battle. Yeah. And we don't normally like those types of games.
Yeah, it's not really an area control game, but it kind of is because
there's an area control aspect to it.
One of the ways
you're trying to get onto other people's
One of the ways to win the game is to have your ships on 5 different planets. It's not your own.
And that's the primary way. The big difference with this one. Okay, so we don't typically take that confrontational negotiation type games. This literally hits none of the wheelhouses for us typically. However, this one is different because you're not deciding I'm attacking you. There's a fate deck that tells you who you're going to attack. The fate deck says, hey, look, Greg, I get to attack you. So
now when the fate deck says, like Katie said, it said to come and attack me. Now she gets to ask everybody else at the table, hey guys, you want to come with me and support me? Because if we win, you get to go on that planet.
That's right.
Well.
You get a colony on his planet if we win.
And then whoever doesn't go with her, I get asked, hey, you want to help me defend? Because if you help me defend and we win, you get prizes.
You get prizes.
Which are more cards for your deck.
Or you can take some of your ships back out of the warp, out of the what do they call that? I want to say it's the warp.
The warp.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you can rescue some of your destroyed ships out of the center of the board.
So if you lose, all your ships go to the warp. You're losing your ships.
Yes. So this is what makes this different, though. With this game, there are aliens that give you special powers.
There's 50 in the base game.
There is, yes, this is just what comes with the base game alone. Never mind all the expansions. So throughout the game, you're playing cards, you're battling, you are asking for help, so you're negotiating. It is, I mean, it's an interesting game, but the whole idea is you're trying to get your ships onto other people's planets. And that's it. I'd forgotten how much fun we had with this one. I really have. It has been years since we've played it. And I think in that time, I thought it was going to hit the sale pile because we just don't play it because it's 3+ player. But I think it's going to stick around now. Did I put it on wrong? I probably put it on wrong, didn't I? I'm sorry. So, but that is
Cosmic Encounters. Next up, we have another kids game, which is just a monkey palm tree themed kerplunk.
Yes. Yes. This one, though, instead of the little sticks and kerplunk,
you got palm branches.
Palm branches.
That goes in the palm tree.
Yep. Yep. There's a base to the palm tree, or a, what is it? There's your base, and you're sticking all your palms into there. And then all the marbles land on top of them, and you're one by one trying to pull them out.
Yeah, because the palm tree itself turns, and you got little slots. You turn the palm tree towards the slot you're on.
Yeah.
You pull out a branch. If marbles drop, they're going to drop into your slot. And the person with the least amount of balls or coconuts in this case in your slot wins the game.
Yeah, I lost this one pretty badly.
She's horrible at the game.
I was doing really well for a while, and then one dropped, and after that it was just kind of downhill from there. So, but anyway, this one sits in the travel collection. I think we've decided we're going to go ahead and keep this guy. It was a lot of fun, and it is a re-theme or a version of a very popular classic game. So, and for that reason, I think we're going to hold on to it. So this is Coconut Drop.
Next, we have Coimbra. Coimbra is a dice placement game.
Yes.
Because you're going to roll, there's different colored dice depending on how many players there are, is how many different types of dice. You got a green one, a purple one, a gray one, and an orange one, and one white one every time. And like I said, depending on how many players you got, is how many of the colored ones you have. You roll them at the beginning of the round. Whoever goes first is going to draft a dice. At this point in time, that color of the dice does not matter. It's the number on the dice.
Yep.
And then you're going to place it into one of your little holders, which is your color. It looks like a little castle tower that you put it in, and you put it out on one of the cities. In order, if there's a 5 there and you place another 5, you go behind that 5. But this is going to tell you the order of who gets to draw to take one of the cards from that city. And you're going to pay however many pips is on your card. So if I have a 5 out there and I get to take a card, I've got to pay 5 gold or 5 soldiers, depending on what the card is. It'll tell you on the card what you got to pay. And I got to pay that. Now, say there's a card that, identical to it, because there are a lot of cards that are just different colors that are identical. Katie has a 3 in that same city. She goes after that card that's identical to mine, but now she only has to pay 3 because she only has 3 dice. So as you draft a card, you take the dice off and put them in front of you. They go on the little shutters of your castle. And then at the end of that part of the round, now this phase is you're going to use the color of the dice to do the actions on the scoring, the tech track, basically.
Yes.
And whatever color dice you do, you activate that track. So like if you have the orange one, you're going to activate the money. You're going to get however many coins you get that you've moved up, depending on what the cards give you, because each card has the colors of the different dice on it. And it's going to tell you how far you're going to move up the track when you buy that card. You got the one that's the movement. I get a move, say I'm at 4, I get a move 4 times on the monastery board, which is going to actually get you other actions and points out there. It's an interesting game. I like the game. You're not as big on it. I'm
okay with it. Yeah.
You haven't really figured it out as
well,
fast
no,
as
I like it. I do like it. Matter of fact, I think you won it. I was leading up till the very, 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 very end of it.
Yes. And
but anyhow,
enough points to
I'm not bitter at all. But no, I do like it. It's not one of my favorites. It's not my favorite type of mechanisms at all, but it is an enjoyable game. So, but yeah, that is Coimbra. It will stay in the collection because if you couldn't tell, he really enjoys it.
I love this. I really like this game.
Okay, but anyway, that is Coimbra.
Okay, so this next game, it says ages 3 to 6. 4 adults played this over the age of 30.
Yeah.
It was me and Katie, our son Justin, and our daughter-in-law Jackie.
Oh my God. We laughed so hard.
This was probably the most intense game I've ever played that was a kid's game. And this game is, you can't guess it, Cootie. This game's insane.
Yeah.
Why is it only 3 to 6? It should be 3 to 66.
Oh my God. We laughed so hard at this game.
This is a
I
dice.
can't believe none of us had ever played.
None of us has played this game. This is a dice rolling game to get pieces to build your cootie.
So, yes, you're rolling dice. So to start the game, before you can do anything else, you have to roll a 1 because you have to get the body of your cootie.
You can see it on board.
There we go. And then after you roll the 1, the next die you have to roll is a 2, so you can get your cootie's head.
And then
After that, you can roll 3 through 6. Now, mind you, if you roll the number you need, so you roll that 1, you get to roll again. If you luck out and roll the 2, which none of us did, then you get your head right away, and you just keep rolling until you roll a number you can't do anything with.
Yes.
So from there on, you roll a 3, you get your headgear, or a 4, you get your eyes, or a 5, you get your tongue,
or mouth,
or teeth, or mouth, or
lips,
something.
or whatever.
And then if you roll a 6, you get one of your feet.
Mm-hmm.
But if you roll a bunch of 6s and then you roll a 1 again, well, there your turn's over because you don't need the 1. I think I didn't get my 1 until like 4 or 5 rounds in. It took me forever.
Yes. So
yeah.
So our Justin and Jackie's dog is a therapy dog, and it knows to go to people if they're yelling, they're upset, they need to be consoled,
comforted. Yes,
comforted.
Absolutely.
Poor Groot, who was what's the name of this dog? He was so confused, he wasn't sure exactly who to go to because we were all yelling about oh. Yeah, we confused that poor dog so bad.
It was so funny.
But for it to only being 3 to 6, it was a lot of fun. When I first saw I had to play this game, I was like, oh god, no, one of these games. I'm a little old for these games, but this is actually a really fun game if you just are going in there for a lot of laughs.
If you go in, and I think this is true with any game, if you go into a game with the right mindset, and I think we all did. Justin literally said to me, because we finished playing Clank Legacy, and he says, okay, Mom, you get one silly game, and then we have to do another serious one.
Yep.
Okay. That was the silly game.
Yep.
And then we moved on to, what did we move on to?
Constantinopolis, which is we're going to talk about here in a little bit. Oh my
gosh. I thank you, Justin and Jackie, for playing this with us, because I guarantee you it was more fun than if we'd done it by ourselves. But yes, lots of fun. So we're going to hold on to this one. 1, because we did have a lot of laughs with it. But 2, because it is a classic. It is one that is not easy to find anymore. Who knows? Maybe it's on Kmart shelves or Kmart shelves. I don't even think Kmart's around anymore, is it? Maybe it's on Walmart shelves. I don't know. I haven't looked. But we're going to hold on to this guy because he's part of a set. We'll get to the other 2 pieces of the set when we get to the D's. So that is Cootie.
Okay. The next game is a 7 to adult game. This is
Cogno.
Cogno, yes. A classic edition alien adventure game. The ultimate game of exploring the universe. It's basically a trivia game.
It was interesting. Yes, it is a trivia game. That's exactly what it is. And it's trivia about the universe, about the world as a whole. There's some animal trivia in there. Like one of these trivia questions is, our universe is A, full of mysteries, B, getting bigger each minute, C, mostly empty space, or D, all of the above. Well, in this case, it's D, all of the above.
You learned it here.
That's right. Here's an no wrong answer. Question: if you were invited to visit another planet to live with other beings from that world for 1 week, would you do it?
Why or why not?
Why or why not? How interesting. We didn't get that question. Anyway, so all right. So this one it's a roll and move. But yeah, you're moving your little alien. You're searching for fuel cells. You have to have at least 3 fuel cells, but you can collect more because it's easy to lose them. But you're moving around the board, rolling a die, rolling your dice, moving around the board, answering questions when you get to chaos spaces, hoping not to get sent to the other universe. What is that called? I don't even know. The alternate universe. Yeah, the parallel universe.
Parallel universe.
You don't want to go to this board
because you lose stuff.
Yes. Meanwhile, you're trying to gather up all the fuel cells so you can get back to the home planet.
Yeah.
That's the whole basis of the game. And actually, this game has actually won a lot of awards.
Back to the home planet, you had to roll a 6, right?
You had to.
It had to be an exact number.
It's a three-sided die. You had to roll exactly a 6. Whether it, 2 3s, a 3, a 2, and a 1, 3 2s, whatever.
Yeah.
You had to roll exactly a 6. Otherwise, you had to start over again on your next turn. So
you didn't have to start the whole game over.
Not the whole game. You just
had to try again the next turn.
Lord, the game would never end in that case.
Well, but you keep going to parallel universe, it keeps on restarting.
Yes. But this one has won a lot of awards. Dr. Toy Best Vacation Children's Products, Parenting for High Potential recommended. So a number of awards, but sorry, the box is on wrong. Or the lid's on wrong. Regardless, I think we're going to go ahead and put this one on the sale pile. I don't see it being one that teenagers will pull off. Kids maybe, but regardless, we're going to throw this guy on the sale pile, even though it was an interesting game. So that is Cogno, classic edition of the Alien Adventure game.
Okay. And as we said just in the last one with Cootie, we also played Constantinopolis, not Istanbul, Constantinopolis. And this box lid is on sideways. We must fix that before we continue. Okay, feel better now. Constantinopolis is it's a kind of I wouldn't quite say it's a civ building game, but it's more of a delivery game.
Yeah, because you're not even picking them up.
Trading game.
Yeah.
But you're also building your town.
You're building your town
to make resources and buildings to help you do other things, get resources and build other buildings or keep more stuff or build other ships. Yeah.
Okay. So this game plays in 7 rounds, 8 rounds. Well, let me rephrase that. This game plays.
Basically, you're going through the market list twice, and I think there's 4 or 5 different markets.
Yeah, you're right. It's like I want to say you're playing through 8 to 10 rounds, but it plays in 8 phases each round, and each phase is exactly the same. You start out with bidding for first player. First player, your turn order comes with specific bonuses.
Yes,
whether it be extra
money, extra shipping cards, extra resources,
the ability to
build walls.
You start out with bidding for turn order. Then you move on immediately to all of your ships come in.
Yes.
That'll be more in a minute. Then you produce all your resources. So any of the tiles you have picked up to this point will produce. And you need resources because that's where you're ultimately going to get your money from. Then you go into a phase where you can buy tiles. So you take whatever money you currently have and you are buying either production tiles or special building tiles that give you extra storage or money off of future buildings or lets you buy from the market at a discount type of thing.
Or putting a resource on it to activate it to get money or victory points. Yes,
that's the other side. You can actually use your utility buildings. You can use some of your resources to get money and or victory points every round of the game this way. Or there are sections of the wall. The wall give you extra bonuses too. And the only way to build them is to be the 4th person in play order.
And then there's also, I think it's the public buildings.
And then the public buildings, which is just simply a lot of money.
A lot of money for a lot of victory points.
Yes. And those usually aren't bought to the last couple rounds of the game because they cost upwards of $60 each. So that's the 4th round. I want to say 4th round. I'm looking at this board heavily. So anyway, then you're going to get your
order cards.
Cards, your shipping cards. So you pull up the number of cards which are based on your turn order. It depends on how many red buildings you've built. Yes. So you're looking at all of your shipping cards and deciding what corresponds with the ships that you have and the resources you have. So you could have something that wants 2 resources you don't even make.
Yeah.
Those aren't going to do you any good. You could have stuff that you can ship, but you don't have enough room on the ship that you start out with. So you're going to have to buy more ships. So next you get the opportunity to buy more ships and get all these set up for the next round.
You can also buy storage warehouses where you can hold a shipping order
till the next
per
round.
storage house that you have too.
So once all that is done, then you go to the donation phase. If you have extra resources and you have 3 of one color, you can donate those to the needy and get victory points out of it. Okay, and then finally, you are storing all your extra goods. You're discarding, well, you can store up to 1 good unless you have a storehouse.
Which allows you to store up to 4.
Right. So you're doing that and then refreshing the market, and then you start all over again, back up to turn order. And then your ships come in and you get all the money from all those goods you just shipped. So it's very repetitive in the way it plays, but at the same time, there's a bit of strategy there in which buildings do you go after. You want to make sure that you are able to produce everything, all of the different resources, because otherwise you're not going to be able to get some of the higher priced goods. Very interesting game. I do like it. This is an older game time, but I still really enjoy it. We don't take it off the shelf nearly as often as we should, but it's definitely more basic. It is not nearly as involved as some of the more recent games. But still a good game nonetheless.
It's a fantasy flight game.
Yeah. So, but anyway, that is Constantinopolis. Constantinopolis.
The next one we got is the other little collection grouping, I should say. And that is Connect 4 and Connect 4 launchers.
Okay. All right, Connect 4. I can't imagine being in this hobby and not having played this at some point. This is tic-tac-toe vertical.
This is a game I know we had when growing up.
Oh, yeah.
And I know we had this for the kids when they were growing up.
We've had this for the kids growing up. I think we've always had a copy of this in our house at some point. And this one will stay because, again, it's a classic.
It's a classic.
So this guy.
We just played this one.
He's a little different. So, yeah.
I won again.
No.
I won both of these.
Yeah. Anyway, so this one you are physically
launching your discs,
using a catapult to launch discs into this upper track. You can launch into either one.
Upper or lower.
The upper is worth more points, but you're trying to get 4 in a row, just like Connect 4. It's not as easy as it sounds.
So this has 3 different ways to play.
Yes.
The first one is basically called all in, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
Or basic frantic
chaos.
launch. And that's when it ready, set, launch. And you just start launching, and the first player with 4 wins.
We didn't play it that way.
Or there's the championship frantic launch, where you're going one at a time and launching them, and you either stop when somebody has a row of 4, or nobody has chips left. And then you basically go off of who has the majority in the row or whatever, and that depends on how many of each person's discs are in there. Or then there's the advanced power, which there's 4 different discs that have different things. So 3 different ways to play it.
Yeah.
We played the championship. No, we played the champion. We did play the advanced power
special powers. Yep. It's a fun game. I found this one, and this has always been a big hit at everything that it's come out at.
To the point where one of our teachers sat there the whole time playing this game.
She did. She played this repeatedly with kids, and even went out and found her own copy. So lots of fun. I have to admit, it was enjoyable to play. Like I said, not as easy as it looks, but that is so it will stick around in the collection because it is fun. But anyway, that is Connect 4 and Connect 4 launchers.
Yep. The next game is a deck tableau building game, right?
Yes.
This is Colony.
All right. Colony uses dice to buy your cards with. So much like much like a lot of tableau builders, you are buying cards to put down in front of you, for their special abilities. So each round you're getting a number of stable dice or potentially a number of unstable dice. The unstable dice are good for one round and then they're gone. Stable dice, if you don't use them, you can keep them.
As long as you have room in your storage.
As long as you have room in your storage. So you're rolling your dice. Or no, I'm sorry, you're not rolling your dice. You are gaining dice of a specific number, and those stay.
At the beginning of each person's turn, they're rolling 4 dice, and you're drafting.
That's right.
Well, in a 2-player game, it was drafting. 3 dice.
Yes. So you are drafting dice out of a central pool, and then those dice stay that number in your pool unless you have a power that allows you to change them. Yes. Meanwhile, the different cards will give you dice as well. Yeah. So like a lot of the cards that we played with, you can, every round you gain an unstable dice of a 4 value or an unstable dice of a 5 value. And then there could be cards that allow you to take 2 unstable dice and make them into 1 stable dice. So lots of different options. But the whole goal of the game is you're trying to get points. Each card, some cards as you get them into your tableau are worth points. Other cards as you upgrade them, they now are worth points or are worth 2 points. So you're trying to get those cards out and then get them upgraded. And to upgrade them, it takes certain specific dice. So I really liked it. I thought it was very interesting. It's a different spin on purchasing your cards because you got to manage your dice. It's not just managing money, it's managing dice. So, but yeah, that's a good game. Colony. It will stay in the collection.
Yep. Okay, so next game is an out-of-print game. This is the Coca-Cola Nascar Racing board game. This is from 2004 because this has Tony Stewart and Bobby Labonte. If you know NASCAR, you know who I'm talking about. But you've got, there's Bobby Labonte, Kevin Harvick, Kyle Petty, Tony Stewart, Jeff Burton, Michael Waltrip, Elliott Sadler, and DJ Dale Jarrett. If you watched any of our stuff, you know I don't like racing. But this is all about racing. It's supposed to be Daytona, I think, but
I did like it. It is. Is there dice roll? I don't remember now. Gosh, is there dice rolling in this guy? I want to say there's dice rolling in this one.
Yes.
There's dice rolling. Best part of the game was the little cars, because the cars are little micro machine type of cars. They're not just wooden or plastic pieces. They're little micro machines with turning wheels and everything.
As you go around the board, you're rolling your dice, you're moving that many for your car, and I'm closing it on her now. There's little slots on the board. Some say caution, so you got to pick up a caution card that something's going to happen that's not good. You've got fast lap, which means you get to go again. You got Coca-Cola spots, which means you're going to get Coca-Cola race cards, which is going to give you extra things to do.
The Coca-Cola cards. Okay. Race cards you got at the end of every round to show that you've done one. Oh, that was lap cards.
Lap cards are just lap cards. That's how you keep track how many laps you get.
That's right.
Because I lapped you like 2 or 3 times in this game.
Yeah.
And I think the last time we played this, which was probably 10 years ago.
Not quite that long ago.
You beat me at it. But this time I got my revenge and won.
Whatever. We're going to hold on to it. It is out of print. It was a fun game. It's all dice rolling and card play. We don't have any racing games in the other collection. This one sits in the other collection because it just never got played over here with us. Yeah. We're going to keep it over there because it is the only racing game in that collection that is not geared toward.
And it's a very simple racing game. Kids. Very easy to read.
Yeah, it really is. It was very simple to learn. I mean, the rule book, I kid you not, the rule book is this. Because the rest of this is pictures of the drivers. It's not even about the drivers. It's pictures of the driver.
Tells you
with
who their sponsor was and their manufacturer and where they're from.
This is the rule book. Very simple, so very easy to learn. But yeah, and I thought overall, I mean, for as old as it is, it's a pretty good production. Like I said, the cars are micro machines. So, and the cards are, I mean, they're not super nice cards, but for as old as it is, they're serviceable. So anyway, that is Coca-Cola NASCAR racing board game. And we are going to hold on to this in the other collection, in the travel collection.
The next game is one of those with the very odd box and the horrible coloring.
Down.
This is Concordia.
This is one that after playing Cosmic Encounter with Connor and Adil, they stayed and played this one with us too. And you okay there?
Yes, I'm just fine. Go right ahead.
All right. So Concordia is, oh my gosh, it is resource production. It is moving around the board. You're building cities in different, you're building your houses in different cities to give you resource production.
This is all play off of cards that you're playing.
Yes, this is
This is
an action selection type of game.
This is what brought the card play action selection to the game world, which is what Autobahn over there has as well. Yes. It has the, as they call it, the Concordia card play. Playing.
You're gonna lay it down because it's gonna fall open up otherwise. So you have a handful of cards to start the game with, and throughout the game you are building your deck of cards. So you are playing cards specifically for their actions, whether it is to move your colonist or to build a house in a city or to get production of some sort, to get money of some sort. And then as you're playing your cards, you have to make the conscious decision of when you're going to play that final card to pick up all of your cards. And at that point, you have your hand full again and you can continue to play your cards. So you may have a handful of things that you aren't going to benefit you and you're going to want to pick your cards up early and get that money.
Right.
So meanwhile, you're moving around the board, you're doing resource production, you are using your resources to build houses or to build in specific cities to get more production. At the end of the game, it's all about, there's a number of things that score because each of the cards have a specific, what is it? Like Venus, and there are specific things at the bottom, names at the bottom of each of the cards. Like this one is Saturn.
Yep.
There's Saturn and Venus and Jupiter and at the bottom of each card, and that each one of those scores in a different way based on the number of cards you have. So one of them may score based on
how many buildings you have,
how many buildings you have built that are not in brick cities, or how many regions you're in.
Yeah, how many regions you build in,
and then you take that number and you multiply it by the number of cards that say Saturn on the bottom or Jupiter on the bottom. So it's a great game. Absolutely great game. It's been around for a while. It deserves every ounce of its popularity. There are other versions of it out now because I know there's there's
Venus, I believe, is the one where you play as a team.
I think so. That's a team play. I've always thought about picking that one up, but we've just never done it.
And there's other maps.
Yeah, there's other maps you can get to it. So great game. Really enjoy this. Really need to pull this off the shelf more often. Unfortunately, the box is so weirdly shaped and big, it sits on the bottom shelf and we don't see it very often. So, but anyhow, that is Concordia, definitely staying in the collection.
Yep. The last game of this selection is a column of a column of fire. This is the last, I believe, of the three trilogies.
Yes, it is the third game based on the third book in the trilogy by Ken Follett. I think. Yeah.
We have Pillars of the Earth.
We have Pillars of the Earth, and we have this one.
I don't remember what the name of the third.
I don't remember the middle one.
And I don't actually remember how they go along. I've never read any of Ken Follett's.
I've never read any of his stuff.
So,
but anyway, this one is based in Europe during the Catholic Protestant Wars, the religious wars,
the uprisings.
Here we go.
1558 in England.
Yeah, this one is based in England, 1558. or in Europe in 1558 during the religious wars, essentially. You are at the very beginning of the game, everybody is assigned a religion. You pick a card that determines whether you are Catholic or Protestant. You roll a dice to determine how many rounds you are that religion, and then you can decide if you want to switch at that point or stay that religion. Throughout the game, you are purchasing cards, you're rolling dice,
different colored dice.
Yep, to pick up cards in different cities based on their color. The cards that are up either proclaim to be Catholic, Protestant, or neutral. And your goal is to win religious battles in each of the cities or in the different cities. You don't have to do it in all the cities, but because it gets you, or conflicts, I'm sorry, they're conflicts. So you're picking up cards that give you special abilities, and each ability only lasts for so many rounds. It lasts for the number of rounds the dice dictate. So if you drafted it with a 5, then that card will stick around for 5 rounds.
Now there are ways to take the dice off a card to send them on the way
to do it.
But every round you're downgrading each one. So a 5 is turned into a 4 and so on.
Yeah. And then you lose their ability when you have to downgrade from a 1.
Some of them give you shields.
Some give you shields. Some give you resources. You can use resources to ship and get points. There's a lot going on in this game, but yet I feel it's very simple.
There's events that happen, and that's what you use the shields for. If you have shields, you can protect yourself from the event if it's doing damage to you or what have you. So I liked the second play of it. I don't remember as much from our first play. I remember a little bit of it, but I couldn't remember enough to not watch a video again or read the directions on how to play this. Yeah. So our second play, I did enjoy the second play.
I really enjoyed this one. I don't feel like it gets enough love. I don't know if it's just because it's a very beige cover. I don't know. Usually that doesn't bother me. If I were to see the cover, it would not attract me.
It's another game that's based on a novel, and sometimes games based on novels don't do
what they should.
I mean, they do all right enough to get out there, but they don't do as well.
Yeah. So anyway, that is a Column of Fire. It will stay in the collection. Like I said, we have the first one in the collection. We have Pillars of the Earth. Never even played. I've never even seen the second one. I'd be interested to play it if we could find it, but. All the Fire stay in the collection, and that is it for today. That is part 6 of the Seas.
Episode
17.
Yeah, she remembers.
She's trying to trick me. So we have one more group of Seas left to go. We have 20 more games,
and then it's off to the D's.
Yep, and then we are finally off to the D's. So hopefully by the end of the year. So anyhow,
it's just the beginning of November, so I hope by the end of the year we're done with the C's.
The C's. Yes.
Probably not the D's, but
anyway. Thank you for joining us on this little trek. We really appreciate it.
Until then, we'll see you at the next one.